Now Korea Statement, September 18th, 2021, U.S. Embassy, Seoul, Korea. We are the Korean freedom fighters against the crazy Korean pro-China communist regime. It's disabling the solid Republic of Korea to be combined with the crazy communist North Korea. So, the crazy pro-China communists are intentionally destroying Korea as bad as North Korea. We are resisting, facing threatened with our lives by the pro-China communists trying to federalize the Republic of Korea with the crazy communist North Korea. We pray for the thousands of Americans who could not return to the United States yet, and numerous Afghans who tremble under brutal Taliban rule. The Taliban must stop the brutal killings and persecution against men, women, and Christians. Above all else, we are deeply concerned about the safety of the Americans who have been left unattended in Afghanistan. Taliban must assist all Americans return home safely. We pray for all those who tremble in unrest in Afghanistan. The fate of Korea is as dangerous as a candle in the wind because the U.S. House of Representatives, Democrat New York Grace Meng, and Democrat California Brad Sherman proposed a bill, H.R. 826, that would cause a war on the Korean Peninsula like Vietnam by the Communist lobby. What's worse, the House of Foreign Relations Committee brought up the Korean Peninsula Peace Act, H.R. 3446. This bill serves the strategic interest of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, and North Korea. This bill is the U.S. version of the 2018 Panmunjom Declaration between Kim Jong-un and pro-China Communist Moon Jae-in. With the goal of ending the armistice in 2018, Kim Jong-un and Moon Jae-in announced they would persuade the CCP and the U.S. both parties to the ceasefire to declare an end of the Korean War. H.R. 3446 has the same goal pursued by the two communists. If an armistice agreement was signed, the United Nations Command would be disbanded, and as one of the three parties that signed the armistice agreement in 1953, the China, North Korea, and UN Command. If the peace treaty is signed, this United Nations Command will be disbanded, which has played a major role in promoting freedom and stability on the Korean Peninsula. This United Nations Command not only exists as the strongest deterrent against North Korea and China, but also provides a means to respond well to a political unrest in North Korea. This bill is very dangerous for the survival of the Republic of Korea, which aims to dissolve the United Nations Command. Without the United Nations Command, North Korea and China could fearlessly start a war on the Korean Peninsula. If these bills are passed, North Koreans will have to suffer forever as slaves. These bills are not a peace law, but bills that will bring war on the Korean Peninsula like Vietnam, so we can never wait to see the passage of the bills. If the bills are passed and an end of the Korean War is declared or peace treaty is signed on the Korean Peninsula, the U.S. military will have to withdraw from Korea. Then, like Vietnam, the North Korean communists will invade South Korea like South Vietnam. These bills seriously undermine the security of not only the Republic of Korea, but also the Western Pacific, and make the killing field because the international community cannot cope with the North Korean military attack. Therefore, we demand the U.S. House of Representatives should never ever pass the H.R. 826 or H.R. 3446. If they are passed, it starts the death of 50 million Koreans and the end of the Free Republic of Korea. We urge the U.S. House of Representatives not to be deceived by the communist trickery. For communists, there is no such a thing as brotherhood, family, love of humanity, or peace. But they use these beautiful things only as a bait for communism, like Vietnam in 1975. Korea already fought communists in the 1950s for the whole world, and many Koreans, Americans, and people from 16 UN countries shed blood to protect liberal democracy. However, the cunning communists are not giving up on failed communism around the world. Although they are not able to feed their people even with corn porridge for 70 years, but starving to death. As we all know, communism inevitably brings oppression and genocide to mankind. The lives of 50 million Koreans depend on whether the U.S. Congress declares the end of the Korean War or peace treaty. The crazy North Korean communists are more cruel and dangerous than the Taliban. Since 1945, they have done all kinds of tricks to communize the Republic of Korea. We are deeply grateful to America because despite these difficulties, with the help of America, we are able to achieve this economic growth. We the people honestly pray God will take care of the U.S. legislators so that they don't declare the end of the Korean War or make peace agreements, but to make the right decisions. For freedom and peace, we always want and protect America as our most precious ally, despite the heinous obstruction of the crazy pro-China communists in Korea. Once again, we pray God's blessing be with the Americans who have not yet returned home and those trembling in fear in Afghanistan. Thank you very much, America. God bless America and the Americans still left in Afghanistan.